This is Lifted, a podcast by women for women. I created this podcast in order to showcase the strength women bring to the table on a day-to-day basis. Women in business, women in employed roles, women in athletic and sports capacities, women in motherhood and parenting, and even women as partners in relationships. It is clear to see that when women come together to support each other, they create such a strong force and help each other live their best lives and show up as their highest selves in this roller coaster called life. I also showcase and highlight the strength in women undertaking bodybuilding as a sport, the mental resilience and discipline required to get oneself through competition prep, and also what it takes to take your body through such an extreme sport by sharing experiences of different athletes in the sport. Having this platform to talk about all these things is important to me because based on personal experience, it was the key to unlocking my true potential, and by passing this on, it might inspire you to do the same in a different or similar capacity. This is Lifted, a podcast to lift you up, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally too, by talking about different ways of dealing with daily challenges we all face. I am your host, Carol West, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the sisterhood. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode on Lifted. And today I have with me Deborah Shelton, who is a personal trainer as well as a bodybuilder. I have just been informed that she is quite happy to go by Debs. So we'll go with Debs. But for all of you listeners out there, she's Deborah Shelton, who, as I say, is a personal trainer and a bodybuilder who I'm very much looking forward to speaking to, because I have a feeling there's quite a few things that she will enlighten us on and give me a bit more knowledge on the bodybuilding side of things. With this being a bodybuilding podcast majorly, it is a passion of mine to get people or aspiring athletes who are coming up into the sport to make informed decisions on various things before they start off on their journey, so that they are well aware of what they're getting themselves into. And it's not just one of those things that you decide, you wake up in the morning and you decide, oh, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. It doesn't always work like that. So, but if you have the information there with you, and you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, you're most likely to do better in the sport entirely. So without saying so much more, I have the pleasure of welcoming Debs to the pod today. She will share with us a bodybuilding journey and give us an insight on both the good and the bad bits, if there's any, of the sport in her experience. Welcome, Debs. I'd like to just start off with the most obvious question, which is, what got you into bodybuilding and how long have you been doing it for? And also tell us a bit more of what you do generally. As I've mentioned before, you're a personal trainer, but just go into a bit more detail on that, please.
Okay. Hello, Carol. Hello, listeners. Thank you for having me. I'm 56 years old now. I started bodybuilding late in life. I started at the age of sort of early 40s, which a lot of the time people are stepping away from it by that age. That's when I discovered it.
Yeah.
Bit of a backstory, came out of a 18-year marriage, messy divorce, felt lost, alone, didn't know what to do with myself, found my way into a gym. I'd had quite a bit of, I'll be completely honest with everybody, once I became a single mum, after having 18 years living with someone, I took to the usual route that a lot of mums will find that they take to, which is a glass of wine a night, and that glass of wine turned into a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And then at weekends, I was down the clubs because I'd missed out on 18 years of freedom. So I was down the clubs, and then one thing led to another. I found cocaine as well. So this was the turning point for me. So I'd got into this habit of going out every weekend or every other weekend, doing lots of alcohol, lots of cocaine. And I actually got home at 4 o'clock one morning and I looked at my daughter, who was very young at the time, and I thought, Jesus, what must she think of the state of you? And
Mm.
something just clicked in my head at that point, and I was like, okay, you got to clean it up.
Yeah.
At that point, I literally went and joined the gym the next day.
Oh,
I was like, I've got to just clean my whole life up and
yeah.
change everything about it. So I needed to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
So I thought that start getting fit, clear all the junk food out of your life, start getting fit. I joined a gym,
Yeah.
and because my confidence was so low at the time, when I was in the gym, just doing what we do on the treadmill because we've no idea what else to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually seeing the photos up on the wall of the big, strong women
Yeah.
that put my mind in the bodybuilding. Not so much how big their muscles were or anything. It was for me, it was how confident they looked.
They look, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
I
just
get that.
looked, and I was like, that's it. That's what I want.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I completely get that. I personally, I also, when I looked at the first time I attended a bodybuilding competition was quite recently, actually. And I like you as well. I've got into bodybuilding quite late in life. I've just turned 40. So, well, I'm 41 now. But yeah, it's like I did go and watch a friend on her show. And I've never been that close to the competitors as I was, because I managed to go backstage to like help her do what she needed to do. And that was it was really eye-opening for me. Like, you get to see them like close range. And the atmosphere in there was absolutely electric. Like, it was something like I'd never experienced before. And I just thought, like, this is magic. Like, I'd really like to, but then you look at them and you think, like, they look like they're sculpted. They don't look real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I completely get what you say when you say you were looking at them and you felt like this. And yeah, what an amazing like background story for you as well. So how long would you say you went through that phase of going through, like, obviously drinks and going out? How long was that?
That was probably around about 8 months.
About 8 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
from the breakup till the initial divorce, that was around about 8 months then.
Yeah.
I was chatting to a guy in the gym and I said, I want to look like that. And he said, well, best thing to do is get yourself a coach. And
Yeah.
I was living in Cardiff at the time. So I found a fantastic coach up there and got in touch with her, and she was like, what do you want to do? When do you want to
Yeah.
start? And I was like, as quick as I can.
Now. Yeah, now would be good. Yeah.
And so she was like, come and meet me, let's have a chat. And literally 16 weeks later, I was on stage.
Oh, wow. That
Yes,
quick.
it was very quick. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody
No, I
now,
was gonna say that's quite yeah,
but it
that's
was my mindset at the time was that's what I need to do. So I was like, just get it done.
yeah. Yeah. So what category did you go into when you
So
started off?
I went in as toned figure.
Right, okay.
Um, for me, when I was there, so basically my coach stripped me down
Yeah.
to, I was going to say skin and bone with a little bit of muscle.
Yeah.
The muscle
Oh
was
God.
very, very minimal at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, absolutely loved it. And I always say to people, and you probably have people say to you, if you do it once and you
Yeah.
love it, you'll want to just keep
You're
doing it.
doing it again,
I
yeah.
know lots of people who do it once and go, okay, it's not
It's
my
not
cup
for
of
me.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they've tried it and they've had a go.
Yeah. So then
But
when you went on to do figure on the first show, how did you do? Because you must have had some sort of a fair bit of muscle underneath when you got stripped back, or
so when I got stripped back, I was quite tiny. I was literally, I'm naturally a size 8.
right, okay.
That's what I always was.
Yeah.
And when I did my show and I didn't place on my first show, I said to my coach, I get why I didn't place. All the girls were a lot bigger than me. She said,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're natural. She said, those girls aren't natural. She said, they're
Yeah.
all on steroids.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is what I need to do then, because I need to do that to get bigger.
Right.
And then I started looking into it, speaking to people, and they were like, you got to try this, and you got to try that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was single, and I was just like, I'll just inject myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Why wouldn't I? Because these people are seasoned professionals who do it all the time. So literally, I started taking steroids at that
Yeah.
point and just went like that.
Wow.
Just grew.
Yeah.
And then when I went to do my next figure comp, my next comp after that, my next tone figure, I was then told, nah, my feedback was, you look great, but your top half is too big.
Okay.
You're more trained figure now than
Yeah.
toned. So yes, they did help, but they do have an awful lot of downsides to them as well.
Mm, mm, That brings me nicely because I was going to ask you, I was going to lead up into that because the reason why I kind of wanted to actually talk to you about this was because I knew beforehand that you were quite happy to talk about it. And it's, like the use of PEDs in the bodybuilding industry can be quite hush hush for people, and people don't really want to admit that they're using. And therefore, I feel like it is important for us to actually address it and point out what the effects for PEDs are, and actually whether it's worth doing it. And for you as an athlete on PEDs, how did that feel for you? Like what were the effects, like negative and positive effects side of it?
Positive. I started winning.
That's a good positive. Yeah.
That
Okay.
was a good positive.
Yeah.
Um, I got a lot bigger. I had a lot more energy. I could lift a lot more in the gym, and just overall, I just felt happier in
Okay.
myself. I felt the bigger I got, the more confident I got,
Right.
um, which was great. The downsides of it were I now have chronic kidney disease, which I will have for the rest of my life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I damaged my liver. Thankfully, your liver can repair, so my liver did repair over time.
Right.
Um, my voice, I used to have a very high-pitched, girly
Girly
singing
voice.
voice.
Yeah.
I used to love to sing with my daughter. We'd sing all the time. I can't sing anymore.
Oh,
My voice is very, as you can hear, is very deep
yeah.
now.
It is deep. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the downsides of it, and obviously your genitalia change as
Yeah.
well,
That
so that
changes as
gets
well.
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of the advice that you got given for taking steroids and PEDs in general, did you get any sort of anybody to advise you, or what sort of dosage or what sort of things to go on?
No,
No.
I was generally just listening to the word out there, and people going, try this, try that. It wasn't until I met my husband, who I met 8 years ago. Um, he'd always done steroids for like the last 30 odd years, and he was like, yeah, you should never have taken that, you should never have taken that, this is what you should have done at this dose. So I was taking male steroids in large doses
Right.
because I didn't know any
You
better.
didn't know. No.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
so I would definitely say, so now I'm 100% steroid free. I have high blood pressure, which I'm on tablets for now for the rest of my life.
Oh God,
So
that's
yeah,
not
so
great, is it?
these are the downsides of steroids.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I wouldn't say don't ever do them. I would say research the hell out of everything, because I know lots of females who run really good steroid cycles. For me, I didn't know at
Mm,
the time, and I've damaged myself. It's my own fault. I did it to myself. Nobody
yeah,
forced me to stick needles in myself. But research is the key.
absolutely. I agree. Like I see like girls who are starting out and going like on the bikini category, for example, going on to using PEDs, and it's just like, in my opinion, they don't really need it. But at the end of the day, it's one person's body, and they're free to do what they want with it. It's a choice. But I think it's important, as you point out, for a lot of girls to actually be aware of what they're doing to themselves, especially the young girls, because they've got their whole lives ahead of them.
That's it.
Um, and if
Yeah.
they're going to do that to themselves, they're potentially even stopping their ability to have kids if that's what they want. And so it is important for us to highlight this, and hearing your experience and what the negative sides of it are, which are massive. Like it's important for people to actually realize what they're actually getting into their body. So in terms of what you took, do you mind just sharing with us what they were, what the names of the stuff you took are, if you can remember?
Trenbolin, which is
Right.
a really strong male steroid. So tren,
Yep.
testosterone,
Yep.
cystinol, deca, winstrol, and anavar. Anavar is the mildest one. That
Yep.
is what everyone calls the female steroid because
Yep.
it's barely does anything. It
Yep.
it helps, but it's not going to give you any side
Yeah,
effects.
it's not as strong. And were you taking this like what in a as a stack or like separate, or
No,
how
I would do sort of 2 or 3 at a time at different stacks. And I was literally just like using myself as a guinea pig, just seeing what
what
worked best for me.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had no,
Wow.
there was no Travis, try that. It was just, let's just try a bit of
Let's
everything.
just try everything and see what
Yeah.
happens. Oh my God, that's literally like playing with your life, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Literally.
was absolutely
Oh my
playing Russian
goodness.
roulette with my life. Yeah,
Wow. That is just, my mind is actually blown, that because I would never have thought that somebody would do that, but at the time you didn't know any better. So
that's
yeah,
it.
I'm hoping to God that somebody out there listens to this and realizes that that's not the way to do it.
No, it's not. My advice, get a really good coach. And if you're going to do PEDs, get your coach to
Yeah,
research everything.
yeah.
And preferably don't do PEDs.
Definitely don't do
But
pets because you're
yeah,
better off without them. But if you
yes.
do have to do them,
But
you
if
at
you
least
do, yeah.
yeah, be informed about it. So how big did you get? Like, did you get massive, massive? What category did you go up to?
So I stayed in trained figure, but I just got
Yep,
sort of bigger. Um,
yep.
but I was like, I didn't win for a while, and then literally I'd actually been on a quite a large cycle of tren,
Okay,
and then I got on stage. I think it was about 2017,
right.
and literally people who'd known me beforehand, and then they saw me get on, they were like, "Oh my God, you are a different person."
Yeah.
I was ripped to the bone. I was
Oh my God.
shredded,
Yeah.
and literally just walked off with first place the minute I stepped on stage. So I was
Wow.
told they'd already chosen me as winner, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. You just needed to turn up and that was it. Brilliant. Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
that
This
was
is
all
incredible.
good.
Like
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So whereabouts are you in terms of the competing life? Have you given that
So
up now or
I did my last comp in September
okay.
last year.
All right, okay.
It was the first time I'd competed in 4 years, because I needed to get my health on track. I needed
Yeah,
to step away from everything,
of course.
just you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Pull
yeah,
everything into line and start
yeah.
over.
Start
So,
over. So how
yeah.
did you find that then,
Uh,
compared
just
to
stepping back on stage again. Even though when I got on stage, I was still quite big in comparison to the girls who I was on stage with.
yeah,
So I've kept a lot of my size, um, but like I didn't feel confident anymore.
okay.
Not as confident as I had done previously.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know if that was just a mental thing because I was saying, okay, you've got no steroids in your body, so you mustn't be as good as the rest of them. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
But I came third, so I
Oh,
placed, and it
brilliant.
was the first time in a few years that I'd been on stage.
That's
That
real
was
good.
nice.
Yeah, that
But
was real good.
once I stepped off stage, I was like, okay, that's it.
That's it.
I'm definitely
I'm
done now.
done now. I'm
I
done
don't have to
now.
play this game anymore.
Oh my goodness. And how did you find training then without the PDs on the training side? What was the training like?
So much harder.
Was harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I felt like all my strength had gone.
yeah. I
So
bet.
I'd go from normally just picking up a 14 or 16 and not thinking anything of bicep curling it.
Oh,
And
wow.
now I'm just like eights, tens.
You're struggling with them. You're like,
Yes.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
wow.
no biggie because obviously the lower you go in weight, you just up your reps and up your sets
Yeah,
and
yeah, of
you're
course.
still going to build a good quality muscle. It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
takes a little bit longer.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just,
it is frustrating though when you're coming from a place where you used to like just really just go heavy, like, just don't even think about it, to a place where you're struggling with like what used to be like not even your warm-ups.
yeah, yeah,
It must be really hard to take that.
it is.
How did you overcome that though? Like, did you just push through?
I pushed through and I also decided that I needed to train other people because I
Okay.
enjoyed training.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously lockdown hit and I was like, perfect time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so during the lockdown years, I did my levels 2, 3, 4 of personal training. I gained a diploma in nutrition
Yeah.
and got myself set up on the old company house page and started my own business
Oh, nice.
as a coach. So I still have a full-time day job now,
Okay.
but I run a coaching which is called Active Bodies Coaching. So
Yeah, yeah.
I have a few clients who my clients aren't all people who want to go on stage. I have 3 people at the moment that are due to
Okay.
go on stage in September this year. But the rest of my clients are ladies in their mid 40s, right up to their 60s, who
Mm.
just want to lose weight, feel good
Yeah.
about
Yeah, just
themselves.
lifestyle coaching.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And how are
So
you finding
that's
that? Are you enjoying that as distinct from like training people who want to compete? Is that any different for you, or are you not? You don't
I
have
think
particular.
I'm still doing both. So I'm pushing the girls to get ready for the stage in September, but
Okay.
I'm also pushing the ladies to just lose those extra few inches
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
but I think that it's both quite very similar but completely different as
different.
well. I
Yeah,
know that sounds, but I'm much tougher on the girls who are getting ready for stage than I
yeah.
am on the ladies who
Of
just
course,
want to.
but you have to be, because the
Yeah,
girls who are getting ready for stage have to be all in with it, and
yeah,
there's no room for slacking.
no,
Like, you've got to
yeah,
be like completely on it. So
yeah,
yeah, you've got to be hard on them.
yeah. That's it. So,
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Um, so then, I want to talk to you about motherhood and you bodybuilding. So, how this tie in. Your kids, how many children have you got? Don't mind me asking.
3 children,
Three
but no
children.
longer children, but all grown.
All grown, yeah, yeah. Grown children, but children still. Yeah. How do they see, what do they think about the whole bodybuilding thing, and what were they like with you going into it? How did they respond to it and all that?
When I first started, I think they were like, "Oh, Mum's found a new fad that'll go away in a few weeks."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but they were all behind me. They were all like, "Go on, Mum, you can do what you want to do, just do it," sort of thing.
Yeah.
And but it's had a really positive effect on my kids, especially my sons. So my eldest son is a police officer in New
Okay.
Zealand, lives in New Zealand with his wife and family.
All right.
Um, he's very much into CrossFit, keeping fit training. He doesn't do bodybuilding competitions, but he's all about keeping fit
Yeah.
and will do the occasional CrossFit competition as well. And then I have another son who lives here in this country. He's a bodybuilder. So he's done 3 shows now, and his last show, he's completely natural after watching
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
years of mum going through the whole steroid bit. He's like, absolutely no way, I'm staying natural.
Yeah.
So he's competed naturally. His last show, he won first place and won the overall. So he's doing brilliantly.
Fantastic. That's
And,
so good. And as a natural as well, brilliant. So does he
yeah,
compete in natural shows or you just
yeah,
get in the deep end with the rest of them?
no, he competes only in natural
Oh,
shows. Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
That's really, really good. I mean,
yeah,
congratulations to him as well. Really, really good. And it's good also that he's made that decision for himself to like not go down the steroid route.
yeah,
As I say, at the end of the day, it's an individual's choice. And we're not condemning anyone for doing PEDs. Uh, not judging, because at the end of the day it is your body and you're entitled to do whatever the hell you want to do with it. If you want to experiment with 500 steroids like someone I know, also go for it, but no, don't do that. It's
yeah,
not the way to go.
exactly.
But yeah, that's really, really good to hear. So now you've hung your heels up, so to speak,
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Uh, how are you finding life? Does it feel a bit weird, like, because before obviously you have something to work towards and you've got a goal to reach.
yeah.
How are you managing to like live your life now in the normal setting?
It's still hard. I still see my girls getting ready, and we talk about bikinis and heels and what shows we're gonna do, and I'm like, "Ah,
Yeah,
shall I do it one more time?" And I'm like, no, just
stop.
stop, behave yourself.
It's
So for
hard.
so for me, it's pushing me other people to the stage, and
Yeah,
just doing it for them, really.
yeah,
Doing it for them is doing it for me as
yeah,
well. So it's all about
yeah.
them.
Yeah, brilliant. And how is your life generally like? What sort of phase are you in? Have you decided to like stay in a maintenance, or are you going to be doing it in phases? Like, obviously you're not competing, but do you look to like still progress in terms of your strength and your muscle size?
I still train all the time. I still train, I would say 4 days a week now, whereas I used to do 6 or 7. Now I just do 4 days. Um, I'm still down the gym on a Saturday morning, going through doing posing classes with the girls,
Yeah,
and just yeah, for me, I'll maintain where I am. I'm still
you're
a
happy with where you
decent
are.
size, so I'm happy with where I am.
Okay.
I don't have to worry about dieting anymore. I know I can have that Mars bar now if I
Yeah,
really
you're all
want.
right having it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. I get that. It's been actually quite a nice break, even though I'm like on a build phase, but just not having that strictness and rigidity of your food and what goes in your mouth is quite nice.
It is, yeah,
And again, like during prep, obviously you've got to be very much on point with everything. So
absolutely.
for you, I'm just gonna ask for your preps. How did you go about your preps and family life and balancing everything? How did that work?
No, my first couple of preps, and my daughter will attest to this, were hell because my anger was just through the roof.
Oh God.
When you're living on chicken, broccoli, and rice, which
Oh
was
no,
my first
painful.
couple of preps. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is hell. But I think because I've done the nutrition diploma now as well, so I'm more keyed up to what you can
yeah,
eat and what you can't eat. So
yeah,
I allow my clients to have snacks. They have chocolate desserts. They
yeah.
have lots of jelly, and I just watch all their macros and count their calories for them and say, okay, this is what you can have. And
Mm-hmm.
on a Saturday, you can have a Chinese and a bowl of ice cream.
Oh, nice. Yeah, who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
I think you should be my coach because my coach seems to like that.
But I'm a big believer in, I don't call them cheat meals, they're refeed meals. So I'm a big believer in when you've been dieting all week long, you
Yeah.
need to have a
You need a
refeed.
break from it. Yeah,
Yeah,
again, it's down to how, for the lifestyle client anyway, it's trying to get them into a sustainable lifestyle, really, more than having that rigidity there where they feel like, oh, that we can't actually ever eat that, because that will just lead them to go the opposite way once they come off.
yeah,
Like if they go back to normal,
yeah,
they'll go all in and eat all the donuts in the world
yeah,
because they've never had the chance to eat them. So, and they'll kind of want to make up for it, and then it just goes downhill, doesn't it? So I
exactly.
completely get what you mean about having those meals in there to make them feel like, or to make them know that they're not actually missing out and they're not being made
It's
to not
it's
eat.
mental happiness, isn't it?
Yeah,
If,
we all
if
need that.
if you're giving them something to spike their happiness, then
Yeah, Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And it won't like break the bank, will it? You'll still be able to make progress.
Yeah,
As long as it
absolutely.
doesn't turn into 1, 2, 3 days of the same,
That's
then
it. Yeah. So
you
what
have,
I tend to do with my clients is, especially the ones who are due to get on stage, I'll say, okay, you have your 6 meals a day, but when it comes to a Saturday, just have your first four and
yeah,
then replace your last two with a cheat meal.
yeah,
That's it. And then Sunday straight back onto it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
but it gives them something to look forward
It
to. Not
does. It
just a
does.
wine, a nice meal, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
straight back on it.
Absolutely. I'm all for that myself. I'm not really a big believer of this very strict diets or fads that restrict you from completely not eating certain things or like
Yeah.
taking carbs away or anything silly like that. It's got
There's no need for it. You really don't need
absolutely
to.
not. No. Like for those less informed, obviously they'll look at you as a bodybuilder and say, "I bet you don't eat that, do you?" And I'm like, well, why not? I do. It's just it depends on what phase I'm in. If I'm on prep mode, then of course I've got to be a bit more careful with what's going in my mouth compared to like a normal time. So yeah, that's really, really interesting. I am actually, wow, like my head's still, I can't believe like you've got through what you've got through and you're still here to tell the tale. Like,
Still
do you ever
smiling.
feel like you've been lucky?
I think I've been very lucky because I've had friends who've done lots of steroids and they've gone to bed and not woken up.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I think I have been very lucky. Touch wood. It's all everything's good.
Yeah. And I feel like you've turned things around so much as well. Like now, obviously, you still got a few issues there, but how do you feel in yourself, within yourself? Like,
Do you know, I feel really calm now.
yeah,
I don't have to prove anything. I always felt that I had to prove myself all the time. But now I've got no,
yeah,
I don't need to prove anything to anyone. People just,
yeah.
well, Marmite, isn't it? You either love me or you hate me.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And the thing that I say to people, even to clients, is like, what people think about you is none of your business. That's,
Yeah, yeah,
it's nothing to do with you. It's what,
yeah.
and regardless of what you do, they'll still think. Do you know what I mean?
And
So,
people will always talk
yeah,
and
yeah,
people will always try to be negative,
yeah,
but it's your journey. It's not their journey. It's just yours to follow. So
yeah.
let them talk.
Let them
Let them
talk.
get
Let
on
them
with
get
it.
on with it. You crack on
Yeah,
with your life. Keep
exactly.
your head down. Keep working. Do what you need to do
Yeah,
to like get yourself in a better place or progress or be better.
yeah.
Is what I say. So yeah, I feel like at this point I need some sort of advice from you really for with you being a prep coach as well. I feel like it's nice because I didn't know you did prep coaching as well, so it's really nice that you do for upcoming athletes who are very new to the sport and who are thinking of starting off on their bodybuilding journey. What are some of the things that you would tell them to think of before they actually even attempt to, apart from the first thing being getting a coach, obviously, some of the things that are there for in competing in the competing world that they need to really think about? What are things that they
I,
should set themselves up for before they even get
I
themselves to
think
that point?
I think for me, my advice would be even before they get a coach, if they've got this idea in their mind that this is what they want to do, go to half a dozen shows, different federations, because not all federations are the same.
Yeah,
So I could win with one and not win with the other, sort of
I
thing.
know.
Um,
In there, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, go to different shows up and down the country, see what's what.
Yeah,
If you definitely want to do it, get yourself a good coach. Go. I'm not against the whole influencers and everything, but I would say you have to go with someone who's walked the walk.
absolutely.
Show them your credentials. If they've got credentials, they've been on stage X amount of times, you know they've done it. They've done the bulking, they've done the cutting, they've done
Yeah,
the maintenance in between.
yeah.
So choose your coach that way. Um, Finances. If you're going to compete next
Big one.
year,
Yeah,
Not saving now because it doesn't come cheap.
Oh no, it does not, and you don't get paid for it either.
No, that's it. And especially for the females, you've got your bikini, you've got your heels, your hair, your makeup, your
Yeah,
tan. So you're looking just for all those things, you're looking before you even pay for any shows, you're looking at between £600 and £800.
yeah,
If
yeah,
not a bit more. I would probably say £600 to £1,000,
yeah,
dependent on what style of bikini you get and who you go with and stuff.
absolutely.
And then look into the costs of your memberships and your registration fees as well, because they're both separate things.
Yeah,
So you generally have to have membership for whichever federation you're going to. So you could be doing 5 shows in a year. That's 5 lots of membership, five lots of registration. It is a very expensive sport to get into.
yeah, yeah. And also, if it's a place where it's not right within a reasonable distance, you're talking about staying over,
Yeah,
so hotel
got the
costs as well.
hotel, travel
Yeah, travel
costs.
costs, and it adds up. It keeps going. Like
It does, and because you're dieting or you're bulking, so your normal food bill is gone out the window.
out the window completely.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because being healthy isn't cheap.
Mm,
Eating healthy food, as we all
not
know,
cheap.
isn't cheap
No,
at all.
no. And you're always in the shop anyway. You know,
Yeah,
like almost every day you're in the shop. Like, oh, run out of my spinach. I mean, again, because you can't actually like bulk buy either. You know,
no,
some
no,
of
you
these things
can't
you've got
because
to eat them. You eat, they go so quick. So like you're literally in the shop every day. So
yeah,
yeah, it definitely adds
uh,
up. But that's really, really good advice. Generally to
preparing
think,
your food because it's number
yeah,
one. Prep
yeah,
your food a few days in advance because it gets very painful when you have to try and do it last minute before you're due to go to bed.
yeah, 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 absolutely. Um, and also be prepared to like eat the same things for forever,
Yeah.
basically.
But for what feels like forever, it doesn't have to be forever. It just
Yeah,
feels
it's
like
not forever,
it.
but it just feels like it never ends. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to be somebody who really wants to do it. And it's not for everyone, as we all know, it's not easy.
You've got to be motivated. And once you find your motivation, you've got to find your consistency and your focus.
Yeah,
So those 3 things will keep you going.
yeah.
Without those 3 things, forget it.
Forget it. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And what about in those really dark moments at the end of prep towards the end?
You have to have really good friends who you can pick up the phone and cry or scream or WhatsApp message or whatever.
Yeah.
You just need you always need to have someone who you can turn to, whether it be a partner, a best friend, a family member. It's always
Yeah.
nice to have someone there because I know people who've gone through it alone and they do find it very, very tough. So friendship
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
family is
It
key.
yeah, yeah, it can be really tough and it can be quite a lonely place as well because if you don't have people who are doing a similar thing or don't understand what you're doing, it can be very hard for you to be able to explain to them what, because they'll be thinking like, well, why are you doing it? Like, why are you putting yourself through it, you know? And for me, bodybuilding has, I've always trained like for as long as I can remember, and I've only just decided to start competing very recently, as I pointed out. But for me, it's really not about it's not even about the stepping on stage. It's what the build up to it and what it actually makes you become, like the resilience and the determination and the sheer grit and the
Yeah.
effort that it takes.
And I think a lot of us don't realise how much of those things we have inside us until we have to
Exactly.
push ourselves. And
Yeah.
then you're like, wow, can't believe I did that. And it's not about getting a place in, it's not about first, second, or third. You're a winner the minute you step on that stage for the first time because
100%.
you've beaten those odds and you've got there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because don't forget also this, there's a lot of girls and men who start off, but they soon discover how hard it is and they'll drop off, you
yeah,
know. So for you to actually go all the way, regardless of what you look, obviously you would want to look presentable and to have a nice package to present. But if things haven't gone to plan and you've not pulled out the look that you're wanting, I feel it's important for you to also understand that you've done your best. And just for you, as you point out, just getting to the point where you're actually stood on that stage for the first time is an absolutely mega achievement that shouldn't be looked down on at all, regardless of where you place. It's massive. So yeah, I just feel like I need to say that to those athletes who are starting out and thinking of doing it, because it's quite daunting, I feel. And it was for me, like the thought of standing on stage absolutely petrified me.
Yeah, me too. My very first time on stage, I could feel when I had my back to the judges and I was doing my back poses, I could feel my whole body right down to my bottom shaking.
Yeah, same. My front pose wasn't happening. No, my side pose wasn't happening because my legs just, I don't know what they were doing. Like literally, they just decided to do a thing of their own. How I quite placed third on that show, I don't actually know. But yeah, it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done, and without clothes on or barely any clothes on.
So you go from your everyday used to walking around, maybe going to the club in a little short dress and heels, and you're like, oh yeah, fabulous. And then you're swapping that to getting on the stage in front of 200 to 300 people in a bikini and some heels.
Yeah, it's mad. It's
It's
absolutely
crazy.
mind blowing. It's like, have I just done that? I came off that stage and I just thought, like, what have I just done that? Like, yeah, it was something that I would never even have thought I would be able to do, because personally I'm quite shy, even though I don't seem that way, but I'm really not that confident as a person. But I feel like going through this journey anyway has made me push out of that,
Yes.
like really come into myself, because I felt like I've stood in front of hundreds of people with no clothes on. Like, what else? What else is there? That what can I
If
not
you
do?
can do that, you can do anything, can't you?
It's like, yeah, I've bared my soul to the world, so I can do anything. Literally, it's not like, yeah, it doesn't get any worse than that, really. And not just bearing my soul to the world, but to be judged as well. So and criticized.
Speaking of the judging part, I would always say to people, if they come away and placed or they haven't placed at all or not placed where they want to be, always get your feedback.
Yeah.
And if you want to do another show, make sure you act on that feedback, because they don't just say it for the sake of saying it. The judges are really good in this country. With all the federations
Yeah.
I've competed with, we've got some fantastic judges out there.
Mm.
And you've got to act on that feedback, or else you're just wasting your time and their time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important, I feel, especially these days where people just jump on stage for the sake of jumping on stage. And it's just like, oh, it's all the makeup and it's all the heels. And I don't know, maybe it's a good thing for the sport. That this is debatable. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I feel like the essence of the sport isn't being really taken seriously. And this is just my opinion, especially on some categories more than others. It's just like, oh, we'll just do a show every 6 months. It's fine, and we'll still come in the same, and there's no change at all. And it's like, well, what's the point in that?
Yeah, you've got to change. If from show to show, you've got to show something different.
Yeah,
Whether your legs have got a bit bigger, your biceps have got a bit bigger, whatever, you've got to have that growth, because it's a continual growth process.
absolutely. Yeah,
And it's not just growing within your body shape and your body composition changing, it's mentally growing as well.
yeah, yeah,
So you just got to just keep pushing yourself. If you want it, push yourself. If you don't want it,
absolutely.
you're not that fussed about it, step away. Let someone else do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I've just remembered the point, like when you're talking about progression, obviously when you're coming into the natural setting or doing it naturally, how true is this that you can only achieve so much naturally? Is there a point where you get to when you actually can't progress anymore? Is that the point where you decide, well, I'm done now?
Do you know, from the people who I know who've done it naturally, you can get to a really good size. I know girls who started out as bikini girls and have grown over the years. It takes longer,
Yeah,
obviously. It's going to
obviously, yeah.
take a lot longer than someone who's on roids. But if you want it, you work for it
You
and
work
you
for
put
it.
in extra time. And you can get as big as some of the other girls. It just means you've got to work twice as hard.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're a grafter by nature, you'll do it.
Do you not think like genetics have a role to play in it as well? Because I don't
Definitely.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, if you've got really good genetics, you'll strip down quicker, you'll build quicker. I don't know why it
but you still
plays
have to
that
work
way.
hard though, don't you? You still have to put the work in.
Whether, whether you're natural, whether you're on steroids, whether you've got fantastic genes, everyone has to put in that same amount of effort.
Yeah, yeah.
It's no use thinking that people can just stick a needle in and then they're just going to double in size and jump on
No,
stage and win
I think that's
everything.
what the people think. Like, oh, just give me the steroids and then I'll just stay at home and then I'll just grow.
I
It's
know.
fine, and then I'll step on stage.
For me, I get so frustrated with the young men who take the steroids. It frustrates me because they've got this natural testosterone in their
Yeah,
body right until they're 40.
no.
And I see them when they're 21 years old and
What are
they're
you doing?
injecting steroids. Like, what are you doing, mate?
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
You don't need
Just,
that. You've
just
got it in you anyway.
eat lots of food and train hard. That's what
Yeah,
it's all about.
yeah. But I feel like I've actually spoken to a couple of young lads who like obviously are thinking about
Yeah.
bodybuilding and starting out on it, but the thing that seems to come across is the fact that it's food is too expensive to to do the competing on a natural setting. It's too expensive, and I'm like thinking like, well, putting steroids in you isn't going to make you not you don't you still have to eat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And how much are they paying? How much are you paying for steroids?
Yeah,
It's not cheap.
use that money to buy food instead and just
Yeah,
eat your food.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, at the moment, with the cost of living and everything, food isn't cheap for anyone anyway.
No,
But
it isn't.
you can diet cheaper than a lot of people think you can. It's just
Yeah,
about shopping around.
yeah. You shop around. Yeah, of course. You shop around and you look around and compare. But I think people are just lazy. They just want to do what just go to what they usually do and do and still think that they'll somehow magic the fact that it will still be cheaper. It won't. Like if you're going to go down a certain lifestyle and you're determined, even though you might not have that much money, as you say, you can shop around and find alternatives and not like stick to like certain brands, for example.
Yeah.
you know
But chicken is still relatively cheap. Tuna is still relatively cheap.
yeah,
Vegetables cheap as chips.
yeah,
Porridge is cheap. So
yeah,
all
exactly.
the staples you need,
They're
it's
cheap. Yeah.
they are cheap. It's
Yeah.
just about shopping around, like we say.
Yeah, yeah. I think it mostly is the protein side that you will get a hit on, because obviously we're looking to like keep the protein high for muscle building, and when you're training to a certain level, obviously you need that as your building
Yeah,
blocks. Um, so yeah, it's been really interesting, Debs, and I'm so glad you actually agreed to come on here and literally just give us your experience and talk to
yeah.
us honestly and like not hiding anything. I do appreciate that,
Um,
because as I said at the beginning, not many people are willing to openly discuss this issue and own up to the fact that they actually are doing it. And even when you can clearly see that they will still go around saying they're natural, and you're like, right, well, okay, you keep telling yourself that. Uh,
that's fine if that's the way they want to be. Absolutely, crack on.
yeah,
But
crack on.
I've always been an honest person. I've never had anything to hide from anyone, so I always just speak straight from the heart to
Yeah,
everyone.
that's
So,
brilliant. That's really, really good. And now that you've come onto, you've come through to the other side, you feel a lot better in yourself, obviously. How is that manifesting in your day-to-day living? Like,
I even though I don't do steroids anymore, I've no plans to go on stage anymore. I still, with the company I work for, I do a boot camp once a week. There's
yeah,
free of charge every Saturday morning. If any of the employees want to turn up, they can come and turn up and
fantastic.
do a boot camp for them. I'm still all about the fitness.
Yeah. Yeah. So just tell us where this boot camp is so that if anybody is interested in jumping on, anybody can come, did you say?
Unfortunately, no, they can't. Anyone who works for our company
Oh,
can
right.
come.
Anyone who works for your company. I was going to say,
Yeah.
we might as well advertise the hell out of it so people can join in. Okay. Yeah, fair. But in terms of your PT, are you taking on any new clients or are you at capacity?
Yeah, I train out of there we go, a bit of advertising for you. Fitness Station Gym in Peterborough.
Okay.
Best gym in Peterborough. So I train out of there, I train clients out of there. I train clients online as well. So I'm always open.
Yeah, brilliant. So if anybody is interested in coaching, so you still open to take clients on at the moment. Yeah, fantastic. What are your Insta handles if anyone wants to reach you, if you've got Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram, Active Bodies Coaching.
Okay.
And Facebook, Deborah Shelton PT.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just put those down on the notes of this video so that if anybody wants to reach out to you, obviously they can do. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to me. So then now, I usually finish with a fun question for my guests before they go. So for yours today is, if you had one thing or experience that you would love to do all over again, what would it be and why? I got a feeling you're going to say bodybuilding, but go on.
You know, it's not bodybuilding. If I had one thing I could do again,
yeah, just one,
it would be to move back to New Zealand because I used to live in New Zealand.
Oh, did you? Is that why your son's there then?
That's why my eldest son's
Right,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, but now I'm too old. I'm like 50s now. So
what's age got to do with moving back to New Zealand? If you want to go to New Zealand,
they don't want you once you get to 50.
Say again.
They don't want you once you get to 50.
Really? That's awful. That is awful. But no, yeah, so that's the one thing.
So that would be
apart from the weather, was it like a really nice life out there then?
It was fabulous.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did you live there for?
For 4 years.
4 years. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Super.
It was awesome.
Really good. Really, really good. Oh, it's been such a pleasure to have you on, Debs. And as I say, I do appreciate your honesty and your openness towards everything steroids and PED use. I'm hoping our listeners who are thinking of venturing into the bodybuilding world are in a better place in terms of being aware of what's out there and what things to do and not to do when they're venturing out to start off on competing in bodybuilding. So I will say goodbye to you for now and to our listeners. And I'm hoping that you have enjoyed your time with me as well, because I have. It's been such a pleasure, Debs.
It's been lovely to meet you, Carol. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you. And we will see you on the next episode, people. Goodbye.
Bye.
And just before you go, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel so you don't ever miss any upcoming episodes. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Carol West Coaching. Are you interested in coaching or joining our team as a client? We offer photo shoot, body transformations, as well as bodybuilding competition prep packages. The team at the Elevate Health and Body Transformation Program are ready and waiting to help you achieve and maintain your dream physique. Whether you're looking to step on stage or just want to do it for yourself, you can send us a DM and we'll get you on the road to achieving a lean and fit physique. Bye for now.